What made all the pets I know suddenly start hating me? For 3 years straight, I'd walked past Greg's house every morning at 7:15, and his golden retriever would lose his mind with joy. That dog would spin in circles and whine until I came over to scratch behind his ears through the fence before heading to my job at the pet store downtown. Greg used to joke that his dog loved me more than him, and honestly, he might have been right because that dog would wait by the fence every single morning like clockwork. Then they started tearing up the main road for some infrastructure project that was supposed to last 6 months. The detour added 20 minutes to my walk and would have made me late for work, so I decided to cut through the abandoned railway tunnel that runs under the hill behind our neighborhood. People avoided it because homeless folks sometimes camped there, but it was morning and I figured I'd be fine walking through quickly. The tunnel was darker than I expected even with my phone flashlight, and it smelled like rust and something else I couldn't identify. About halfway through, I felt this weird tingling sensation on my skin, like static electricity was building up all around me. The air felt heavy and thick, and for a second I could have sworn I heard something moving in the walls, but I kept walking because I was already running late. When I came out the other side and walked past Greg's house, his dog went absolutely insane, but not in a good way. The dog started howling like someone was torturing him and backing away from the fence with his tail between his legs. His eyes were huge and he was shaking so bad I could see it from the sidewalk. Greg came running out asking what I'd done to his dog, and I just stood there completely confused because I hadn't done anything except walk by like always. Greg brought his dog to the vet that afternoon thinking maybe he was sick or having some kind of episode. The vet ran all these tests and said the dog was perfectly healthy, just severely stressed about something. Greg asked me if I'd changed my cologne or deodorant or maybe stepped in something weird, but I was using all the same products I'd been using for years. The vet suggested maybe I'd picked up some kind of pheromone that was triggering a fear response but couldn't explain what that would be. I tried everything to fix whatever was wrong, including taking 3 showers with different soaps and washing all my clothes twice. Nothing worked because when I walked by the next morning, the dog literally tried to jump over the fence to get away from me. Greg had to grab him before he hurt himself, and the look he gave me was like I'd betrayed him somehow. He asked me to please walk on the other side of the street from now on, which absolutely destroyed me because I loved that dog. Then things got so much worse because it wasn't just Greg's dog anymore. Every dog in the neighborhood started acting like I was their worst nightmare. My elderly neighbor's poodle would bark non-stop whenever I walked by, and the family across the street's usually friendly pit bull almost broke through their screen door trying to get away from me. Even cats would hiss and run when they saw me coming, and birds would fly away in huge groups like something was hunting them. My manager at the pet store noticed the animals were acting strange around me and asked if everything was okay at home. I tried to explain, but it sounded completely insane, saying that every animal in town suddenly hated me for no reason. She suggested I take a few days off to figure out what was happening, but those days turned into a week, and then she called to say maybe I should find a different job since the animals were too stressed with me there. My girlfriend Luna had this theory that maybe I'd been exposed to some chemical in that tunnel that changed my scent in a way only animals could detect. We went back to check it out, but the city had already sealed both entrances with concrete barriers and warning signs about structural damage. I called the city planning office to ask what had been in there, but they just said it was an old railway tunnel from the 1940s and nothing special. After weeks of this, Greg knocked on my door and his face was completely white like he'd seen something horrible. He said he'd been up all night researching and making phone calls, and he'd finally figured out what happened to me. His cousin, who